School time, and I told Karen, I said, I think we need to start at 5 o'clock, break for lunch, run 2 hours of farm work,
Yeah,
and come
and then
back.
go back. I agree. Is it on?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call our regular meeting of the Wayne County Board of Education to order. It's 6 o'clock. And if you'll stand, we'll say the pledge. I don't know. Mark, you wanna lead us this evening?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let the record show that all board members are present in person this evening. And we're going to begin this evening with our recognitions, young writers.
We have a microphone back here. Do you think we need it?
Maybe in announcing the names, that would probably be good. Let me get it for you.
No power.
It's free. I bet we have to turn
But I've got him too good already.
Probably can be heard without it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Not really.
I'll use my, yes.
Use
Ms.
your
Rashford says use my teacher voice, and I can do that. I'm Tanya Bowen. I oversee curriculum and intervention for Wayne County Schools. And tonight we have several different groups of students to recognize for their performance in different events at the county level, the regional level, and even the state level.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you. We're going to start with our Young Writers recognitions. The West Virginia Young Writers Contest has gone on since 1984, and it is led by the Central West Virginia Writing Project at Marshall University, and they use leaders there to judge entries based on ideas, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. In Wayne County, we choose our Young Writers winners by utilizing our retired English teachers who rank our entries. We take all of the entries, we put them in category by grade level, we take off all names, and our retired English teachers rank them based on the same criteria, and that's how we choose our winners. It allows our process in Wayne County to be completely anonymous and non-biased. So with that said, we'd like to recognize our students who placed in first, second, and third place for Wayne County Schools for the 2025 Young Writers Contest. We're going to start with grades 1 and 2. So the way that the categories are organized is they combine 2 grade levels at a time. So for first and second grade, our third place winner is Keegan Dingus, Dunlow Elementary. Our second place winner is Huzefa Rashad, Buffalo Elementary. And our first place winner for the first and second grade division is Elena Davis, Wayne Elementary. All right, moving on to grades 3, 4. In third place, we have Madeline Stacy, Pritchard Elementary. In second place, Coulter Stroud, Dunlow Elementary. And in first place for the third and fourth grade division, Tegan Mabry, Wayne Elementary. Okay, we're going to move on to the fifth and sixth grade division. In third place, Riley Erdlitz, Buffalo Middle School. Regionals, Lavalette Elementary. And in first place for the 5th and 6th grade division, Henry Smith, Wayne Middle School. All right, moving on to the 7th and 8th grade division. In third place, Mason Smith, Cerrito Canova Middle School. In second place, David Creech, Vincent Middle School. And in first place, Scout Maynard, Buffalo Middle School. All right, for the 9th and 10th grade division, in second place, Eli Pinson, Tulsa High School. And in first place, Timothy Stevens, Spring Valley High School. And moving on to the 11th and 12th grade division, we only had one school submit entries this year. In first place, we have Jonna Foley, Tulsa High School. All right, we're going to move on to our Golden Horseshoe Award winners. Yes.
Guys, come on, scoot down here towards me. Yeah, can you get a picture? Board members, you want to come on?
Parents, if you want a picture of our young
Everybody check
riders,
the back of your mouth.
students,
Stand up here.
with our board members,
You got the
this
right
is a
one.
great chance to do that.
You got the right one.
Squeeze in here.
You got the right one. Who's mine?
Just okay. We're good.
You're good? Good.
Yeah.
Ready? Everybody look at me. 1, 2, 3.
Good job.
Good job, guys.
All right, moving on to our Golden Horseshoe winners. This year, we had something really unusual happen. All 4 of the Wayne County Golden Horseshoe winners were from the same school. That's unusual. That doesn't often happen. All 4 of these students were from Wayne Middle School. They were Connor Adkins, Case Gilkerson, Jackson Sowers, and Jesus Aramilo.
I got one, yeah.
Do we want to get a picture?
Yeah, come on up. You want to get here?
of Golden Horseshoe?
Guys, you want to come around? Jackson, come over here. Mark, come on around.
Everybody look at me. Ready? 1, 2.
Good job, buddy. Congratulations.
All right, our next group to be recognized will be our students who placed first at the Regional Social Studies Fair. And then after that, we will recognize the students who placed first at the West Virginia State Social Studies Fair. All right, beginning with the Regional Social Studies Fair winners. In first place in the region, Avery Blanton, Wayne Elementary School. From Lavalette Elementary School, Henry Harris and Miranda Wilson. for their project Under the Stars. Also competing in the individual category for sociology, Lavalette Elementary, Corbin Booth. From Crum, pre-K through 8, Kara Stevens. From Crum, pre-K through 8 with a group project, Alona Hill, Briley Prince, Lily Parsley. All right. Moving on to our next set of first place winners at the Regional Social Studies Fair. For an individual project in the anthropology category from Crum, pre-K through 8, Ashton Muncie. Group project in the geography category, McKinley Bragg, Stiller Salmons, and Tanner Ratcliffe. In the individual category for psychology, from Buffalo Middle, Amelia Harris. Group project in the state and local category, from Buffalo Middle, Grant Deerfield, Garrett Nelson, and Chase Rourke. And in the world history category, this next group came from Vincent Middle School, Limar Lahul, Jana Alnadesh, Quinn Diamond, and Taya Duncan. Okay, parents. If you'd like a picture, these again are our students who finished in first place at the Regional Social Studies Fair.
All right, everybody look at me. Hold on. All right, ready? Smiles, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is on the picture. Let's do that one just a little bit. Thank you.
Good job.
Good job, guys. Some of these young scholars who placed first at regional also placed first in the state social studies fair. From Lavalette Elementary, this group placed first at the state level in the political science division. Henry Harris and Miranda Wilson. This next group to place first at the West Virginia State Social Studies Fair is from Crum, pre-K through 8, and they competed in the geography division. Those students are McKinley Bragg, Stiller Salmons, and Tanner Ratcliffe. All right, we're going to have another opportunity for a picture, parents. Good job, guys. All right, moving on to our next category. This year, Spring Valley did an in-house social or science fair and had students who were then invited to participate in the regional science fair at Marshall University. And we had one student from that competition move on and compete at the state level. And that young man is Colton Davis from Spring Valley High School. Our next group are students who competed at the regional Math Field Day competition. If they placed as individual competitors at the regional Math Field Day competition, we wanted to recognize them. We're going to start with Braxton Purdue from Cerrito Canova Middle School. Also placing at the regional Math Field Day competition, Noah Ramey from Spring Valley High School. And our next gentleman, who not only placed at the regional competition, but then had the opportunity to move on to the state competition. So he was a competitor at the state Math Field Day competition as well. Gavin Motter from Wayne High School. All right, we're going to pause for a moment for a picture. Good job. All right, we have one more group to recognize. We have a local robotics team from Lavalette Elementary who were able to move beyond the state level, and they represented Wayne County Schools at the Robotics World Competition this year. And those students are Levi Chatterton, and we have evidence. Adriana Daniels. Henry Harris. And Miranda Wilson. And we're going to pause for a moment for pictures.
What? Yes.
Great job.
All right, good job.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. We know it's the first week of June, and everybody's ready to be done with school for the year, but we really appreciate your students, and we know that they wouldn't have the type of success that they're having without support from home. So we appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to go on with our regular board meeting at this time, but we don't want to hold you up. You feel free to stay. It's an open meeting, but if you want to sneak out, now's the time to do so. Thank you.
Good job,
Thank you. Thanks, sir.
She ran away. She's like,
Okay.
Have a good.
You're leaving? You're not gonna stay for all
We
this?
are in such good hands that I don't need to sit here and oversight you guys. I have complete faith in you. And I voted for most of you twice. So
Only twice?
it should be all right.
You can tell he's a liar.
Not a good one, though. Not a good one. It just one with the license. All right, guys. Get us some see you, buddy.
Joe, morning, Joe. This is simple.
Joe's from crazy. I know that. All right. Brady, we'll see you, buddy. Go on, take care, friend. See you guys.
See ya.
Enjoy the rest of your all day.
Oh, thanks so much. I don't blame you.
See ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
I haven't I've seen it a number of times. Fairly
It's okay.
safe. The office next door to ours, I see parking there or something. Praise God. I counted him yesterday. I guess I went back and called practice. Yeah, that's what I saw. I don't know. I never had really asked him.
Enjoy it. Have fun.
County, we've done real well. Her sugar level's been good. So I told her, I said, you're gonna work every day like
It fixes everything.
this. It really did. I'm gonna lose like 7
Huge difference, yeah.
I did quit today.
I kind of get the impression most of these people down here to see us.
Right.
Oh, you forgot, you're covered.
3/10 of a mile.
Oh, my gosh,
The color is supposed to be.
I had like
It's green
700.
instead of blue.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like, let's see if there's
I
something.
told her at church Sunday, I said, my sore is sore. I didn't even know I had
Yes,
it.
it is. Instead of projecting it,
Oh.
I copied the PowerPoint.
No.
Can I just give you guys a packet, go through it with you?
That's fine. I don't care if it's green or blue.
I didn't know if you were using the whole pen or.
No,
Let's
he
just go
had
with
to
the
keep
new one.
that pen and it was attached.
I'll just give them a packet.
So if it's attached, you can't take it. He had a dog and he was afraid of the dog.
Well,
I had to just compromise. I ordered him in, he took him
there you go. You've got one.
All right, we're gonna step back and punt. The settings are a little bit
Monkey.
wonky with the Promethean board. It's
Monkey.
making it everything green, so, but I printed the PowerPoint for you guys, so we'll just go through that. Okay, you know, every year we have an adoption. This year's adoption was social studies. We used to be able to, with adoptions, with elementary, with social studies and science, you used to be able to just tell the state that you were going to embed that in reading, and you didn't have to always purchase an actual curriculum for elementary. But like everything else in life, you know, things get
Right.
lots more boxes to check off as we move along. So we can no longer do that. We have to actually adopt an actual curriculum for social studies. We cannot embed those standards in reading. So we are going to, so we do have a recommendation for elementary middle, and high school. So if you go to the second slide in your packet, your programmatic levels, what we do is, and you guys I know are familiar with this, we pull representatives from around the county, and they vet the materials, they help narrow it down, and then when we get to maybe 3 or 4 final choices, we invite the companies in to present and answer questions to our teachers. And so what the committees are recommending is for the elementary schools, they're recommending teacher-created materials, Exploring Social Studies, the West Virginia edition. What is really, really great about this, and I was so glad after I really started digging, I was really, really thrilled that this is what they chose. Even though this is a social studies tool, it is based on the science of reading. So it emphasizes that phonics and phonemic awareness piece for K2. It embeds it into the social studies. It builds vocabulary, background knowledge, and even has strong tools to increase fluency. So it actually addresses those 5 pillars of literacy that are such a big part of the science of reading. So I think that our elementary committee did a great job because they chose a tool that would really work well to not just approach and address our social studies standards. This tool should also help build literacy skills. And that's one of the things with science and social studies. Science and social studies are such powerful tools to support literacy and math. And they really, you can do so much with the nonfiction reading and the writing. And so I was just really glad they were thinking about that, about a tool that really utilizes what the brain research tells us about how children learn. The middle school tool, for middle school, we have to do 2 different programs. We do one for 6th and 7th grade, but then in 8th grade, our state standards have teachers focus on West Virginia history. So you can imagine most of these big textbook companies, these national companies, they typically don't have a West Virginia history book as part of their repertoire. So typically the West Virginia history vendors are going to be some of these smaller kind of niche publishing companies. This year there were 3 that they could look at for 8th grade. So for 6th and 7th grade, they went with or made the recommendation for Houghton Mifflin, and the name of the text is HMH Social Studies. For middle school, they recommended a company called Gallipay, and the text is titled West Virginia Studies. So that's elementary and middle. Now, high school is sort of a different beast. It always is with adoption because you don't just have just the mainstream content area. You have a lot of specialty divisions in there. And again, and I want to say, just because he's here, not to pick on Robbie, but Robbie was actually one of my high school social studies committee members. And so, I mean, he can tell you it was a very long, we spent an entire day together, and I think we didn't even break for lunch. I think we ate while we worked. And they were here from 7:30 till well after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was intense, but they took their job very seriously, which is obviously what we want. So for high school, the way that it worked out is with the exception of psychology, they actually ended up recommending McGraw-Hill as the company for the majority of the contents. And then for psychology, the only high school right now that offers psychology as an elective is Spring Valley, and they added it 2 years ago. And when they added it, we purchased books for that course then, and the books that they pulled or that we purchased were from another company called Cengage. So for that, we can continue to use what we purchased year before last, which is great. But for the others, the committee recommended McGraw-Hill. And then if you go to the final slide, you can see the projected cost. So if you look at elementary, you've got the total for elementary in bold to the right. For middle, you've got 2 line items because you have the Houghton Mifflin cost for 6th and 7th grade. And then you have the Gallipay cost for West Virginia history. And then of course the high schools are all broken down, but the total for high school is right here in bold, and then you have your comprehensive total. So for a K-12 adoption for one of your 4 main content areas, it's actually not bad at all. It's a lot, but not nearly what I was afraid it would be, so.
Right.
You guys have any questions for us?
Sounds good. Any
We
questions?
won't actually, I think, have a true voting item until we submit the quotes and the POs for approval, which I think we will do. on the
After
first
July
board
1st,
meeting of July.
Gotcha. Do we submit this all at once, or is this in stages, or?
It's all at once.
Okay.
Now, if you'll remember, with the Carnegie Learning Math,
Right.
because so much of it had the digital components, all of these have an online book that students can access, but they also have the regular books. But if you remember, the Carnegie was consumables and an annual license that had to be renewed. The Carnegie will come back up for year 2. They broke it down into 5 years for us last year. It was a little different, and it was also K-8. So we will have to renew the second year of the Carnegie Math. The way that the state guidelines are written, we have to pay for that 1 year at a time because it's more than just a digital text. It's all those additional licenses that have to be renewed each year.
Gotcha.
Whereas the digital text, that's just the online text for them to use and access on a computer, it's a 5-year. It's just like the book.
I gotcha.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that will come up again, but all of these we're able to pay
Just
upfront, and it's
all at
covered
once.
for the next 5 years.
Gotcha.
Now, if you remember too, something else that will come up in July will be our universal screener, which is the Renaissance. It's also digital and has to be done annually to satisfy State Department requirements.
Gotcha.
Any other questions?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Any good news to share? Anyone? Okay, no good news. Move on to informational items. Regular meeting on Tuesday, June the 10th, beginning at 6 in the board conference room. Last day for our students is June the 9th, and last day for our teachers, June the 10th. Regular meeting on Tuesday, June 24th at 6 p.m. in the conference room. Right. Construction project updates.
I do want to mention, we're going to have a couple board members out of town next week for the June 10th meeting. We looked at possibly moving that, but we have a number of jobs that are coming down, so it's real important that we keep that date to keep our hiring going along and keep jobs posted. So I know that Missy and Randy will likely not be available or have to participate by phone. So if any of the 3 of you run into any conflicts, be sure and let me know. I just want to make sure we have a quorum that evening. Moving on to the construction project updates. In your packet of information, I believe at the very top is the Wayne Elementary School general contractor update for the progress at Wayne Elementary. And that was submitted at the end of last week. And as you can see by looking at that report, things are moving forward there. In addition, we've been working on the drainage project at the Spring Valley High School soccer field. That project was also scheduled for completion yesterday. And now I was down there yesterday afternoon and they still had quite a bit to do. So it might have stretched into the day, but we fully anticipate that they'll be wrapped up this week. So we shouldn't see any more flooding issues back there by the Cerrito Fire Department. So we do have to move forward. The next step of that project is filling up the old line that is up on the football field, up on the soccer field, and getting that hole filled up and getting grass planted for this season. And then we'll do more extensive work after the season is over. In addition, the Sarita Canova Alumni Gym, that major improvement project, we've had our bid, we had the contractors meeting on site, the pre-bid meeting. The bid opening is scheduled for June the 10th. And so that's next week. We'll be opening bids on there, so you'll see those on your agenda shortly for your approval. And then the Wayne High School roof bid opening, this is at the athletic facilities at the football field. That bid opening is tomorrow. So you should see that on next Tuesday's agenda. You've already approved the Lavalette roofing project. It's set to begin at the closure of school. Again, last day for students is Monday, last day for teachers is Tuesday, so they'll be beginning work probably next week. And then our Buffalo K through 8 project, we have received all the drawings on the project. Our construction administrator Skanska is going through those drawings, and I anticipate that they're going to provide feedback to McKinley, our architects, as soon as this week. So things continue to move there. That's all the updates I have.
All right. I don't think we have any delegations this evening. Back to superintendent reports.
Okay, I want to mention, and there's no information in your packets about this, but one of the laws that the legislature passed this past session is the requirement that we have some mapping done, some digital mapping of all the campuses. And so we just received guidance from the State Department of Education yesterday on what the requirements are for that law and what the requirements are for the vendors. But I anticipate that sometime here in late June or July that you will see us recommend a contractor to complete the mapping projects for all of our school sites. We'd originally, like back in 2017, we had created maps of all the school sites, and we provided those to the 911 office. And so we have done this before, but this is a more extensive project where they'll be more digitized. And so that is something that we have to do, and we'll apply for a grant from the state. It won't cover 100% of the cost, but it will cover some of the cost. In your packet of information, I had told you at the last board meeting that I would share research on school start times. And we had had a petition come in earlier this year from a group at one of the schools asking us to consider delaying the start of school. And it's a topic that's going on in other counties and across the nation. And so we were able to pull some research, and there's 2 documents in here related to that research and trends on school start times. The first one highlights the research, and it highlights the fact that the American Academy of Pediatrics, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the American Medical Association recommend that middle and high schools start no earlier than 8:30 a.m. And it gives the reasoning why. It also indicates that studies indicate that later school start times improve academic performance, and there's other benefits such as reduced tardiness, decreased dropout rates, and fewer disciplinary referrals. They also speak of the mental and physical health benefits related to it. Now, at the bottom of the page, I asked for some information on national and state trends. And you could see as of 2025, there were 20 states that had districts implement later start times for secondary schools. California was the first state to mandate a statewide start time policy. Middle schools were no earlier than 8 a.m. High schoolers were no earlier than 8:30 a.m. And then Florida has passed legislation requiring high schools to begin no later than 8:30 a.m. by 2026. And then as you consider or continue on to the second page, you'll see some considerations that we would have to take into consideration. That includes operational impacts. That's going to be adjustment to the transportation schedule, obviously extracurricular activity timing. It mentions staff contracts. I don't think that would be an issue here, but the transportation schedules and extracurricular activity timing certainly would be. And then it stresses that you have to have community engagement if you're going to consider something like this. There has to be a lot of stakeholder input, gradual phase-ins, and effective communication. As we talked about before, if we were going to do anything with this, it would not be for next year, it would be for the year following.
Now, the second thing I did was I asked for research related to the case against later start time. So the first inquiry that you see there, the first document, that's just give me a summary of the research surrounding the issue, and that's what was generated. Specifically for the second set of information, I asked for the points that you would make if you were arguing against later school start times, and they're listed here. And some of the things we've already discussed. Item number 1, there's logistical and operational challenges, and again, it goes back to that transportation. There's a possibility that if you're having to run separate schedules, there could be increased transportation cost, which if that was the case when we started looking at this, I don't believe we would be able to do it. There's the impact on extracurricular activities. That's less daylight for practices and games, especially during fall and winter. And students may miss more school to traveling to competitions. There's family and community disruption. Can conflict with parents' work schedules and affect the supervision of younger siblings. And then there's the coordination if you have different start times for different levels. And then it does go back to the studies, and it does indicate that there have been signs of modest academic improvement in the studies, but they indicate that some of the studies just show modest improvement instead of some of the significant improvement we saw from the first set of documents. And then they make the argument that benefits are offset if students simply just start staying up later. And then at the bottom, you see the resistance to change. It goes back to that communication and having to have a long lead time if you're going to consider something. And again, the conclusion on this document just speaks to all the things that could be a factor. So I wanted to present this information to you, give you a chance to go over it, and at some point at a future meeting, we'll have a discussion about whether we want to continue the topic on another board meeting. Any questions regarding that information?
Nope. Anyone?
And then the last thing that I'll mention as part of those reports is there's a grievance decision. The grievance board recently issued a decision in one of the grievance matters that was pending against the Wayne County Board of Education. That document is included at the back of your folder, and that's an FYI. We were successful in that grievance, but I just wanted to share the decision with you. That's all I have.
Okay. Perfect. All right, no board directives or board reports this evening. And no unfinished business, so we can move on to our new business, consent action items. The superintendent recommends approval of the following action items. Additional items received prior to the time of the meeting may be added. Discussion and or separate action of items may be requested by members of the board and or the superintendent. Items are subject to change. Any blanks will be filled in prior to the meeting. In the event a nominee withdraws, we reserve the right to put the next candidate in that position. Number 1, consider for approval the recommended personnel matters on page 1. Let's see, where are we here? I am.
It's immediately after the, it's just one page.
Come on.
There you go.
Sorry, my fingers are slipping. All right.
There's a couple items that we need to fill in here. First up is a recommendation on transfer for the position for the principal at Kellogg Elementary School. The recommendation that is being made this evening is that Kim Mills be transferred from principal at Dunlow Elementary to principal at Kellogg Elementary effective July 23rd. And then there's also a suspension on your agenda. And that suspension was a 3-day suspension without pay.
from April 3rd, 30th to May 2nd. That is employee Annie Smith. And we have to say that name publicly.
All right, I'd like to pull the transfer, the principal at Kellogg for separate consideration if we could. Do I have a motion to do that?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So we can back up to
The
regular-
remainder.
Right, personnel matters. I need a motion for that.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Johnita, second.
Second.
Mark. Any questions or concerns on the other personnel matters? None heard? All in favor? Aye. You guys,
Sorry.
it's okay. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Go back to the transfer from, for Kim Mills from principal at Dunlow to Kellogg. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Randy. Second. No second? Anyone? No second. Motion fails for lack of a second. All right.
All right, since the recommendation failed, I'll bring a second recommendation to you. I recommend that Josh Salmons be transferred from assistant principal at Kellogg to principal at Kellogg Elementary effective July 23rd, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Johnita. Second by Mark. Any questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. All right, I think we can consider number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10, 11.
Before we go on, Josh is with us. Josh, congratulations.
All right, so 2 through 11 are minutes from previous meetings.
There's one set of minutes needs to be corrected.
Okay,
What set is that?
The minutes for the January 30 meeting.
What page?
Well, it's page 2, once you get in
to the meeting.
to it.
You have it? Just page
So it's the legislative forum. It's
Okay.
It's-
Where it's listing the people who are here, one person should be added. I distinctly recall that Mike Wolfle was also present by telephone during
Yes.
that
Oh,
meeting.
that's right.
He was.
What's that?
Which
On page 2.
We can sign in and yellow it.
January
No,
30.
I don't think we did that right. Is that all of, is that everybody? You did that, okay, yeah.
Okay. Is that all?
I want to pull number 9. There were some mistakes that were made in number 9. Those are the minutes for March 11th, 2025.
Okay.
Hang on.
And so we'll bring those back to you for approval at a later date.
Okay, so we're pulling number 2.
9. 9.
9.
Full, number 9 for corrections. Next page.
Okay. 9, and what was
That's it.
the forum?
That was on January, that was number 2.
Got it.
Okay, so out of all the minutes, we're pulling number 9, and on number 2, we're adding Mike Wolfle to the list of attendees as
Yes.
participating by phone in the legislative forum.
Gotcha. All right. Any other questions or concerns on the minutes? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Did we have a motion?
Yeah, I think we need to go back. I didn't record a motion or
I
a
didn't
second.
either. Let's go back. So the minutes, I need a motion for approving the minutes, 2 through 11. Thank you, Dennis. Second,
Second.
Johnny. All right, now let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I get lost in
All
all
but
the
number,
9. We pulled that for,
yeah, number 2 and number 9.
right. All right,
Or
number
no,
2.
okay, 2.
Yeah,
and
2
number
was
nine.
revised.
Two was revised and
No,
approved
we-
with a
we're-
revision.
We're
Right.
approving it as revised
Right,
Yeah.
9 we're pulling.
and revised, okay. Number 9 we're pulling.
Correct.
Okay, so they're all approved, but number 9.
Right, and we'll come back to that. Whew. Number 12, consider for approval the purchase requisition order and quotes in excess of $5,000, pages 30 through 32.
Motion.
Motion by Randy. Second,
I'll second.
Johnita. Questions or concerns on those requisitions? Anybody? 30. 32. It's mostly summer programs. All right, none heard? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. New business, separate action, we have none. Moving down to potential items for a future agenda.
Yeah, there's,
Can I do one thing, just
Sure.
point of order? I've thought about it some more. I still agree with my first, where I made the motion for one person, but I'd like to change to a yes on the second person on the principal.
Gotcha. We're going back to the,
I don't know if you can do that on
Principal
point of order.
we've done it before,
Okay, I'd like
so
to
we
do
will
it
go
again.
by.
Okay.
So,
So what is he doing?
the second name brought to us was Mr. Salmons.
Yeah.
So Mr. Troutline would like to change his vote from
Okay. so
no
it's-
to yes.
It's you 5 to 2.
So we are back to a 5-0 vote
Gotcha.
on Mr. Salmons moving to that position.
yes.
Okay.
All right, on the potential items for future agendas, in your packet, we have to get my evaluation completed by the end of June. And so you have the document for the evaluation.
Yes, we do.
And 2 of you are going to be going at the next meeting, so we'll have this on the agenda for June I think it's the 24th,
Okay,
for this to be completed. So Missy, I know you'll run that process, so
right.
I'll turn it over to you if you want to talk about how you want to get that done.
We can, I think in the past, we've just collected our thoughts individually and then just sent them to me as you finish them. So if you would do that again, I think that would be the easiest way to get it completed for everyone. If you have any questions or problems with filling anything out, feel free to let me know. Be glad to help. So, pretty straightforward.
And if you think of anything else, any other different goals,
Right. We'll set new goals
you know.
In August,
in
yeah.
August, so,
And I want to mention, I did put, there's a document in here on letterhead that says Superintendent Goals 2024-2025 school year. And this is the data from the measurement tools that are indicated on the evaluation instrument that shows the progress towards the goals. Included with that is and again, this information isn't for public release yet, but it's the 2025 annual desk audit for Wayne County Schools, which was one of the goals that was mentioned. You're going to see some handwritten numbers on the page. Those numbers were written in by the special education department. If the numbers are highlighted, that means those numbers were positive, moved in a positive direction for this year. If they're not highlighted, that means the numbers moved in a negative direction for the year. But again, that relates to one of the goals that are on the evaluation form. So with the information that you have in the packet with you,
if you want to look at any of those measurement tools, you'll have all that information there. And then there's nothing in your packet, but the board self-appraisal, you guys have to complete your self-appraisal as well. That's not due till August, but we normally do it at the end of the year. I have emailed that out to you. And how many we've had 3 completed. Who's,
Did not.
you haven't done it yet? Mark, you haven't done it yet? Okay, so I've saw 3 have been returned. So Dennis, yours works. You wanted to make sure yours worked. Yours worked.
Want to make sure it worked.
I submitted mine.
That highlight.
Yeah.
thing.
So when all 5 are back, we'll schedule it on the agenda, whether it's June or July, and then let you guys go over it.
Do you
Okay.
know when you sent that out? Was it recently? Because my,
It was at the end of last week.
yeah, my email's not been picking up
I
everything for
thought
some
I did
reason.
until yesterday.
Or
I'll
maybe
check
it
it.
was yesterday.
Why not?
That's why I got
Was it
mine
yesterday?
yesterday.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
yesterday.
I'll check it this evening. If it's not there,
I can
I'll
send
let
it
you
to you
know.
again if you need to. And then the other item I'll mention is it's that time of year where we order school buses. So I will have a bus purchase letter of intent for you on the upcoming agenda for the ordering of the school buses. That's all I have.
All right.
It is.
That's it.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Dennis, I
Dennis beat you.
second.
Dennis made the motion, Johnita made the second today. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It is 6:57. That is all. Thank you all.
6:57 PM. Thank you for those that joined online.